Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and DigPerspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $3.95 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is off 2.6 as we're back under 4 trillion for the crypto market cap. Look, I think all of this just speaks to the fact that Congress is on recess, and we know that there's been, shenanigans going on in the market. There was a lot of Bitcoin sold. We're going to go over it. And that suppresses the market. But you know what? Right now, Bitcoin 111,500 plus, Ethereum 4,600 plus, XRP 295. We're off 2.4 on the 24. We're off 1.1 on the 7-day. Range of price between 293 and 312. We will keep an eye on it, and we have plenty of TA to look at so we can kind of get a formulation of what's going on with the market here. First, before we get started, I want to tell you about this. It's the premium custody account from iTrustCapital. They've created a closed loop system. And this is done exactly to help us all prevent us from being hacked. Look, the founders and creators of iTrustCapital have been hacked. And they sat down with their team and said, what can we do to try to give people the best peace of mind? First of all, they have the greatest crypto, gold, silver IRAs on the planet. So you can just write that down. And if you haven't taken advantage of it, you should. And you can roll your 401k and every other product damn near right on over in there. And the process is so easy, you'll really kick yourself for not doing it sooner. So do that. And then after you do the IRA, if you haven't done it, then you want to get this premium custody account because this gives you the same institutional grade custody, no monthly fee, 1% trade fee. You can trade all the assets on the platform. And while you're in here, you understand that the only way to come out of this account isn't with crypto. And that's where it removes a huge attack vector from bad actors, ladies and gentlemen, because they've developed a closed loop system. So you can go in with cash and crypto, trade all the crypto on the platform you want. But when you come out, it has to come out in cash, only goes to your US checking account, period, full stop. So God forbid if you clicked on something, gave critical information away that you weren't supposed to someone you weren't supposed to, then I've had this happen to me. It is a horrible, horrible feeling. And we've all worked so hard to build our portfolios. So look, this is the stuff I'm looking for solutions. Okay. It might not be very sexy to other people, but it means a lot to me. And it's very sexy to me because I tell you what, security, safety, and knowing that this actually helps me from myself. Yeah. Because we've all been hustled. And if you haven't, just know someone's going to try, okay? Because that is happening. And the hacks and scams are actually reaching new heights. So take the moves, take the actions to protect yourself. Go to itrustcapital.com/XRP Army. Start getting some of the best night's sleep you've ever gotten since you've been in this space. You'll see for yourself when you do it. Click the link underneath the video, get started. Meet this. We talked about the Gemini credit card in the first video, but I'm going to talk about it again because it's launched, and here's some more details about it. So here you see the Gemini credit card pays you back 4% on XRP, not in cash, but in 4% XRP on gas charging and ride shares, pays 3% XRP back on dining, 2% XRP back on groceries, and 1% on everything else. I actually love this. This is wonderful. But I tell you, it gets me excited because I'm going, wow, if you could pay 4% back to me on my gas charging and ride shares, when can we expect some kind of a yield product across the board for all of us XRP holders? I am excited. Yeah. Ripple excited too about the new Gemini credit card as they launched this. Real USD now supported for US spot trading, simplified trading, no extra conversion fees. Fast and simple access to crypto and stable value. Special edition design for the XRP community as well. How about that right there? Loving that for all of us. And here is a conversation with SEC Commissioner Peirce on XRP and Solana ETFs. Take a listen.
You know, we have Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. Everyone's, I think, waiting on a few other ones like Solana and Ripple and things like that. I only use Solana and Ripple because they're There's like 4 CME approved assets. I think it's like Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, and XRP. I'm pretty sure.
And it's XRP. Stop conflating the business name with the actual token name. They do this on purpose. They're not good people.
But yeah, what do you think happens with ETFs? Like when do we get more, essentially?
Well, I can tell you that our staff has been really inundated with applications for people wanting to do different ETPs and have been working very hard. I mean, the goal is to get to a listing standard that's sort of more generic so that people know what they have to do. And that's what we're working toward now. And I think once you have those in place, everything becomes easier.
Yeah. When will that framework come?
I mean, we're working, we're in the process right now. So I think.
Don't you like dealing with crypto people?
Yeah, I know you guys always want
more.
timelines.
Yeah.
So certainly, I'm not going to give you any specific dates, but I can tell you that this is something that is certainly on our agenda, and we're working very hard at.
There you have it. It is coming, ladies and gentlemen, and it may be here. I'm speculating. It may be here by October because that's when these new spot XRP ETFs have been pushed to as a deadline in October. So we could see it jump then. And in fact, we're starting to hear talk about the escalation of approval and percentages. According to Eric Balkunas, who is an analyst, says exactly that. He goes on here to say that there's a probability of 95% now. And James Seifert as well has recently raised his estimates as well. So this is interesting because we know James Seifert, that must kill him. That guy thinks XRP is a shit coin. He said it at Bitcoin Vegas or Bitcoin Nashville, which one of those two conferences. But nonetheless, as an analyst, you got to be careful. You're selling ETFs. The idea is you're supposed to be helping make your clients rich, right? That's usually the goal. So hopefully some of that maximalism escapes him as he sees utility take over the market. Nonetheless, Polymarket raises the surging approval rating to 98% for an XRP ETF. So it is looking very strong like bull for an October approval. We'll see what happens here. And there's a new filing from Canary Capital. Shout out to Stephen McClurg here. It is an American-made crypto ETF. Here they come, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, we've talked to Stephen McClurg on this channel, and shout out to him. He was at XRP Las Vegas. He was great. And then on top of it, he's following what I believe he is seen as a blueprint from the United States government and our current president, which is U.S. domiciled assets. And now he's making that play. A spot product that will hold only coins invented in the U.S., are majority mined in U.S., or have majority or operations in the U.S. As we've predicted, thanks to category success, get ready for ETFs to try every combo imaginable. Yes, yes, yes. Shout out to Eric Balkunas for that information here. Now, utility, as I said, is the name of the game, and these guys know it. This is Andrew and Tillman from Arch Public. Take a listen.
For example, let's pick the two that I don't remember whether it was Tillman or Andrew mentioned. So two of the coins that are on there are XRP and Solana. XRP and Solana and a bunch of others are vying to be the base layer to support new transaction modalities. Now, boy, does that sound geeky. But the fact is that the way exchanges work and the way money moves when it is right now, everything is centralized exchanges. Everything is done via proprietary systems. Both XRP more in payments and Solana more in trading are vying to be part of a newer globalized infrastructure. If those things take form, so if Solana broadens beyond memes to trading of everything, then it's going to be worth a shit ton more than it is today. The total addressable market for providing that as a base layer is significant. The same thing with XRP with regard to payments and Swift. And if XRP underlies the stable coins that are become, if basically not just RLUSD, but if Chase coin and JP Morgan coin all use the XRP ledger, then it will have value. If it doesn't, it won't.
And it's really that simple. And we already know, shout out to them for this great conversation. Look, we already know that we are seeing G20 nation stablecoin representation, the euro, the EU, right? We're seeing 2 stablecoins on the XRP ledger. We know that this is happening, right? We know that this is happening. So for me, this is super exciting because this is where this is going. And that gentleman had it right when you're talking about XRP eventually underpinning all the dollars of the world. That's the ultimate goal here, ladies and gentlemen. And you own and hold some. Not financial advice. Dom from EZA points out here, earlier in June, he had stated that the inevitable rate cuts from the Fed would be very bearish for stablecoin issuers like Circle. And I have too. Markets are now starting to price this in, with Circle down 33% this month alone after Powell's dovish pivot on Friday. Expect much more downside for Circle as the rate cut draws nearer. You know, as I've said, Circle has to split 50 to 60% of their profits with Coinbase. Now all the other exchanges carrying USDC going, why are we carrying USDC and offering it, knowing full well that it's putting money and padding the pockets of our own competitor, Coinbase? And then you take in fact that if they start to not carry it or delist it, push it off because of that, then you start going, well, wow, we get the rate cuts, their margin, their profit margin's just getting killed, decimated. And that's why I say we've talked about this. Watch closely over the next coming months. Ripple buying Circle could still be in play. I'm not giving up on it. Just like I'm not giving up on this. It is XRP and HBAR, known for low-cost transfers, come alongside Swift's ongoing transition of ISO 20022 standard, which is in November, ladies and gentlemen. In November. Swift began live digital asset trials in November 2025, handling 150 trillion in transactions. Now, how much of that will be converted to digital? I don't think it'll be all in once, but I'd love it if it was. But what we've seen in the last 8 years I've been in this space is a phasing in of things. So what if it's 1%, 3%, 5%? What if each quarter they increase it by 5%? You know, that I'm ready for that. Look, I just want to see it in use. I want to see utility become the price driver of this market. Let's talk about a few things while we're in this window here. We're on a crypto countdown. Legislation for the Clarities Act, October, November, according to Senator Lummis. Spot ETF approvals, October we're looking at now, 95, 98% approval rating is the odds for approval. Swift, November, 150 trillion. You know, we're in one heck of a moment right now. And for anybody not sure of the relationship between Ripple and Swift and Citi, take a listen.
Kellyanne, Swift has played such an important role in helping cross-border organizations and banks interoperate smoothly. What does the next generation of Swift look like? And will you work together with other types of solutions that we heard, like with Citi and Ripple, to really tackle these issues?
With Citi and Ripple, and that's Pegah Saltani asking Kalani to answer the question. And here's the part you're going to want to hear right here. You're going to want to hear this part. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm going to give it to you.
Across asset classes. So we really try to keep, up to date what's happening in the market to make sure that, whether we are participating and supporting different initiatives where possible, we do our own experimentations. You're absolutely right? So we talked with Pegah and with Ryan on tokenized assets. And
there you have it. Kaliana, global head of payments, right, at Swift, talking with Citi, which is a liquidity provider, and Pegah Saltani from Ripple, which is an infrastructure provider, about getting the job done. Just saying. It's 150 trillion, folks. That's all I'm saying to you. It's 150 trillion. You can do it at what you want. I don't know if it's all at once. We know Brad Garlinghouse said in 5 years, he predicts 14% of Swift will be running on the XRP ledger. in the next 5 years. So I see, if that's accurate, then we would see a phase. 1 to 3% of payment flows creeped on. That went well. Maybe next quarter, the quarter after that, they open it up to 5 to 6%. You know, again, I could see a phase in, and I wouldn't get upset if they did it all at once, but I'm sure that's not going to happen. But nonetheless, you know, a man can dream, right? Shout out to Scott Melger, Wolf of All Streets here. Excuse me. I don't know why I can't talk today. Bitcoin dominance continues to drop like a stone. Altcoin season, I say. Well, you could see the TA people out here. Shout out to Crypto Bull. Says XRP cup and handle pattern completed. Next stop is $7, and he's got even bigger targets than that. Javon Mark says here, according to past breakout cycle performance and the extremely high similarities of this cycle, next up for XRP is another 200% increase to $9.63, and then the rest of it. And Crypto Bull puts down here a larger price target, more macro price target. $25 is the most logical price target for the XRP this bull run. You know, these guys are seeing this. And I'll tell you, for years, they've all taken a lot of heat. Unnecessary heat, too, by the way. Because we've had a 5-year court case hanging over our head. Doesn't mean that the chart isn't still showing what the potential for utility can do for price. And all because we're sitting here waiting for legislation that is absolutely mission critical in order to unlock the dominance of the digital US dollar and the new asset class that I believe that the U.S. Treasury is going to issue digital bonds for. Yeah, I think $25 could happen too. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.